is really good. I want to welcome y'all back to the pod. We got a special edition here of the Chris Logic podcast, but nonetheless, it's the dynamic duo, your boys. Start with me, your boy Jordan Frost Mitchell, and I got my mans here with me today, as always.
Xavier Green, back live in full effect.
Yes, sir. We got a special edition, man, of this episode, and it's dealing with a very interesting subject. Some take it very passionately, some, not quite as much, but it provides good entertainment for the uninitiated and a lot of ruckus and rioting for the initiated, I'd like to say.
Oh, yeah,
but,
for sure.
But nonetheless, man, we're going to get into some serious beef that even after a year of shenanigans and roller coaster rides, man, we still got some stuff to unpack with this whole thing between the sixth god himself, Drake, and King Kenny, young Kendrick Lamar himself, man. That's right, man. But our session, bro, the session that we had about this was so like fire, man. But even though the crazy part went for 2 hours, man. But,
yeah, we went too long. Like, it much longer than anticipated. Just speaks to how we felt on the subject matter and didn't even fully get through everything we needed to get through. So, we had to go back and record a new intro for you guys because we're gonna make this a little series, a little 3-part series to bring it to you. Didn't want to put in something out there that was 2-3 hours long for one episode. So we wanted to give you guys a special 3-part series for the first time and go in and break that up to make a cleaner content for you and a better listening experience for you guys. So that's where me and Frost is coming from with this episode of pod. Like he said, great content. And I think you guys are going to love it. We're going to break it into 3 parts, I think. That's the goal. You want to go ahead and let them know what to look forward to with these next chronicles, these chapters.
Yes, sir. So with this first one, man, we are going to talk about we're going to take it back, man, to the beginning. So where this whole Drake-Kendrick feud started off at, start talking about some of the key points of this ongoing feud and what led up and got us to the point. So we basically going to start with the origins and talk about the path travel that led to the battle that took place, or at least that really kind of like escalated towards the end of last year, or not even last year, at the end of 2023 to be more specific. But yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoy this 3-part series of this, man, and we're going to let y'all get into it. Again, we appreciate y'all enjoying this special edition of the Chris Logic pod.
Yeah,
Enjoy this show. So we're recording. Live. We are back. It is your boys on the Chris Logic podcast, episode number 5. It's your boys, Jordan Frost Mitchell, and I'm here with my boy. You know who he is.
Yes, sir. Xavier Green, and we back at it. We got something hot for y'all today. We go switch gears. We go changing up from the sports talk. We go address some things that needs to be addressed. So we go call the congregation to the front. So we go get after it today.
And second in that, we're gonna thank the congregation for being patient. But we're gonna switch up some gears here, man. I know so far we've been talking about sports, and I don't want y'all to get this misconstrued. We love the sports talk. We love the sports talk. This is a diverse product that we are delivering, so we are definitely hitting on a lot of different topics, a lot of different corners and avenues. And first one, man, we are jumping into the music industry because, like one of the greatest MCs that ever said it himself, what's beef? Beef is when you need, the rest. But some beef is best served warm, some beef is best served cold. But I think this one. Yeah. Revenge is. But, beef. We got to talk about it. And I think y'all know if we're talking about music and beef, there's only one that is still almost a year later, still making headlines and still being talked about and still one of the most polarizing subjects when it comes to the rap game and the rap beef. And we are here to revisit the ongoing feud between the Six God himself, Drake, and one of Compton's best ever, Kendrick Lamar. And you already kind of know what's been going on, man. A lot of back and forth, man. Diss tracks, awards, propaganda, Super Bowl halftime shows, lawsuits, false narratives, blasphemous allegations. A lot of bullshit, but we gonna really like take a real dive into this and separate some of this nonsense that's been transpiring in this shit, and really like really gonna give a more accurate portrayal, especially for those that like to run away with crazy narratives, man. But
I like
let's
this
get
energy.
to it.
I like this energy.
Let's get
like
to it, man. Oh yeah, because there's some people that, you know, back when this shit was going on, man, they was calling me a Drake stand on good and damn well when Drake was beefing with one of my favorite rappers, the retired great himself, Joe Budden. I was talking left and right about how my boy Joe, you know what I'm saying, got at him on 4 different tracks, and Drake knew better than to come back at him, just like Drake knew better than to officially go back at Pusha T. But those are other subjects for other days.
Don't get me started on that dumb shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I told you. But, you know, I ain't going to get off all into that. We are going to focus on the topic at hand this week because, we're going to get right to the origins, man. So let's start from the beginning. Zay, this is not something that clearly popped off overnight. It's not something that popped
not
off
at all.
with...
Like Drake clearly said it. You know, that little song y'all did not start to beef with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's been in the kettle. It's been brewing for not just a little bit, for years. You know,
for over a decade when you look at it, bro.
Yeah.
Like literally for over a decade, man.
Yeah, and I think even in that decade, it points out a lot of the inconsistencies from one side, in his messages that he does now. So, you know, we go deep dive far into it. We go get to all of it. But like I said, it started a long time ago, like as early as 2013. 13.
If you talk about it as far as like sources of contention, technically this does go back to 13, but I'm gonna go back a little bit further. I'm gonna go back to when they actually, you know, was like really starting to find their footing in the game, man, when they were pups, bro. Like I'm talking like 2009, 10 vibes, you know what I'm saying? Before the big contracts got in the way, when they were still cranking out quality mixtapes, man, and before all this commercial spotlight bullshit got to the equation, you know. I'm gonna go a little bit further back, man, because I'll be the first to admit I didn't follow either artist like down to the T. At that point in time, my vibe as far as like rap music was elsewhere. But from what I know now, after researching and kind of learning a little bit more stuff and getting some factual information about it, this actually starts with, you know, with Drake kind of, you know, breaking into the industry and getting on himself initially, and kind of extending an olive branch to, at that point in time, who was like more of an underground rapper, who I knew was K-Dot back then, you know, going all the way back to when my boy was, you know, rocking with Little Brother and doing tracks with the true underground hip-hop heads of the world, you know, before all this commercial nonsense. But this goes back to that point, man. Your thoughts on the origins, you know, as far as like their beginning, you know, with the whole going on tour, you know, the collaborations and stuff, man, because this has been a while since people really talked about that piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, like, you know, like I said, you can date it back even to like 09, and 09, 10, around that time. You know, Kendrick on one of his projects even said, like, you know, his girl was listening to Drake, and, you know, pretty much just in reference of like, you know, I ain't as good as him, or that he is better than him already at that time. So like he's always had like this little animosity towards him. But of course, you know, Drake popped first. You know, Drake has been mainstream, like stardom since 09. I've been listening to him since about 07, 08-ish. Like I got on early. I'm talking like Replacement Girl early, like early on with Drake. So
I'm with you, bro. Comeback season 1 is where I first, like, you know, it kind of opened my ear up. But
yeah. So like it can go back to then, and like you said, you know, Drake started his rise to fame much earlier. He ascended. He took off. You know, he was doing not stadium, but arena tours, and he vouched for Kendrick, like, hey, I don't want to take an R&B act on the road. I want, K-Dot to open up for me. And Raheem. I don't even want to call him ASAP, but, bring him on the road with me.
Yep.
So he early on put his name out there to vouch for K-Dot and saying that he's a talented artist, which K-Dot is. Like, let's be clear, I'm a fan of both. I listen to both of their music. Ever since they came out, I've been listening to K-Dot since Section 80. So I've been listening for a while. So Drake is my guy, and I don't hide that. I wouldn't classify myself as a stan, but I am a fan of his music.
As am I.
And, like I said, the beef started back then, brought him on tour. Even now, having quotes of Kendrick thanking him for taking him from 2,000-seater venues to now in front of 16,000 people. He exposed him to things that he's never seen before. Like, he even made reference to that on his first feature on the interlude on Take Care, of how, he introduced him to the finer things on the music side, and, showing him what it's like to be a star in this lane. So it's crazy that it's turned into the beef, because you see that, and it's evidence of him saying, like, oh, he's such a genuine, nice guy, good dude. And now we are where we're at with the two. Something that, because you listen to the music, you kind of see him coming. But it kind of came out of nowhere, and we still, to this day, don't have a clear understanding of what his true beef is with Drake. Because what the message is right now can't be his true issue with him, from my opinion. But I'll pass it back to you to see where your thoughts is still with the early stages of their beef and building up to where we're at now.
So for me, at least how I'm understanding it, man, at least as far as it going south, this all kind of stems still in the early days. You fast forward to about around like the 2013 mark, and then we got the big shot heard around the world at the time, and this is obviously up, the Control freestyle verse that Kendrick laid out to while paying homage to the legends in the game at the time. He also took shots at guys. And in my opinion, I know some people took it personally, whereas the real ones really kind of understood it for what it was. I think that was more like a friendly competition type deal with that piece of it. I understood where he was going with it. Whereas, at least if I'm understanding like some of the subsequent stuff that, we heard as far as like loose interviews, while paying respect to Kendrick in that regards, I know Drake wasn't on board with the the shots that came out and the resulting because obviously this is really when social media really started to escalate and blossom into what it is today, back around the 2013 mark, because the game was changing as we knew it at that point in time. But I think, at least if I'm understanding it and reading it right and understanding core components of this, it really kind of started with the fallout from the freestyle piece of it and how that might have impacted promotions and things. But even still, it seemed like that Drake was still paying him mad respect, even with that, viral shot heard around the world with the Control freestyle. So for me, the escalation piece comes with obviously some of the alleged subliminal shots that came on a variety of tracks, between the two after the fact of that. But I think that's really the main source of contention, and especially when you got two MCs that are vying to be at the top of the rap game, not just from the conscious rap standpoint and getting the proper, penmanship credibility, street credibility, whatever you want to call it, notoriety even, with them trying to vie for supreme notoriety and respect in this industry. You're also trying to, you're in this to make money. You know what I mean? As much as I know, Kendrick is trying to, kind of portray that he's not in it for the money and the fame and the stuff that comes with it. To his own words, he's fearful of what that might change him into. The irony of that and how that has aged since then.
It's crazy.
Right. You know what I mean? Like just with what, especially with what I saw, a few weeks ago here, but we'll get to that. We'll get to the Super Bowl. Um, it's very polarizing, and that's like the best way to really sum it up in the wakes from the origins to the escalation of this, man. I mean, I get it. It started off as friendly, spirited competition, bar for bar, who's the best, currently. And even that's subjective because I got my own opinion about guys I think that could have dusted them lyrically, but I'll save that for another episode. So if you ask me, this starts with the Control freestyle verse that's dropped and the aftermath from that. Your take on where it started to escalate at?
It definitely started to gain steam with the Control verse. Even in how he was naming the rappers, like he named maybe close to 10 rappers in that verse.
Big names in that, man.
Yeah, but like, what for some reason he did emphasize Drake. Like only he just said everybody else's name and then he did emphasize the Drake. And that's fine. Like he was the biggest fish in that pond. And so I get the angle. But I also do understand Drake's thought process on it. I understand people are like, oh, it's competition, it's hip hop. That's cool. And I think I don't think that Drake is ducking that at all. He's just from the camp, like if it's a competition and you want to get on the verse and say, I'm trying to murder you niggas and wish, they never heard of you niggas. Cool. That's cool. Stand on that. Be on that. Because that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. And I think that was his approach. Like, don't do that verse, say that, and I see you, within a week of it releasing and at the VMAs or whatever award show it was, then it's like, oh, it's all love. I ain't mean that. Like, nah, like, stay on that side. You said that. Stand on that. So I get it from that point of view, even though that, they're both rappers in the same space, kind of. I think they are in two different avenues, musically.
For sure.
And not saying that one is truly better than the other. It's just two different avenues. Their artistry is completely different from each other.
Right.
So, he took that and they also stand on it. And that was like the first real verbal shot on record, on wax, that we got to hear between the two, with their little subliminal sparring, and this will go on for the next 10, 11 years, that they would just constantly take subliminal shots at each other. And, even with some of Drake's shots, they're not even fully coming to light until now that the beef is in full blossom. People are going back and hearing them like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Now that makes sense.
No doubt.
So that was the first to where it started to take off. And, they're different people. They gonna handle and react to things differently. But also, if I look at it from the standpoint, I'm someone that I have a little family. So if I go to the point and I'm calling you on stage and I'm introducing you, not as, hey, this is my boy, but I'm introducing you like, hey, y'all, this is Jordan, this is my brother, this is my man's. If I'm using those terms of like a brother, that means that we locked in. So I understand it from that point. I don't use the term brother lightly myself. So if I'm giving you the respect of calling you my brother, that means that we locked in. And my bullshit is your bullshit. Not now you go behind my back, doing subliminals, doing interviews and taking slight subtle shots, and then kind of not having my back, or going there laughing, talking about, oh, DMX said if it was 7 years ago, I meet Drake in the back alley and fuck him up. Oh, you want to go in the interview and then react to that? Oh yeah, it was hilarious, and like it was just like petty stuff. So the build up is just a long time coming, but that was the start of it. It's just a lot of little petty stuff here and there between both parties. And it finally just came to a head years later. And that's where we at now. But it's so much stuff between the years, man. Like it's like I low key don't even know where to go with it. It all, in my opinion, it was always K-Dot with the first little poke, and then Drake will retaliate with a poke on this track. And it's just been going on for years. So I seen it coming. Eventually, the actual rap battle itself, I thought would play out differently than what we have.
Right.
But they were even taking stuff like shots at each other on stuff you wouldn't even think they would be taking shots at on. Like even like we all know what All the Stars was. That's a Black Panther movie theme song, and he's even taking shots at Drake on that. If I was Disney, I'd kick him in the ass. For real. Like if I was Disney, I'd kick the head out in this fucking head. Man. I wouldn't have to lift my leg that high. I'd have kicked him in his damn head. Like, don't bring that to this. That ain't what this is for. This ain't. Well, like, it's just been so many shots over the years. And it is a good little sparring. I guess you could say. And I think that's also the reason I feel let down in the actual height at the highest peak of this.
I agree. Yeah.
It's because of what my expectations is and what I feel or expect from Kendrick. Because I'm not naive and I don't go into this blind. Like I'm not one of these Drake fans that's about to sit here and tell you that he is a better rapper than Kendrick. I think Kendrick is the better rapper between the two. He's the better lyricist between the two. I think if
definitely a better
Drake,
wordsmith, I agree.
Yeah, I think Drake fans tell you that they're not being honest with themselves, truthfully, and that's where you can go into them saying like their stance. Like I'm not that naive to it, but this was just a long time coming with all the little side jabs, and then even Baby Keem trying to get into it. Talking about number 2 is DM and my BM, like you stay out of it, King. Like you stay out of it too. So like you say, the only time you're talking hard is when Baby King put his pen to it. So like it's been little shots everywhere. Like, but we here. The escalation of all this has just been crazy. But outside of the Control first, like the Untitled, I think it was Untitled tracks that he did with the subliminals. And really wasn't, I wouldn't even say subliminals. I think they was kind of direct. Those was like kind of direct. And let me spin back just a little bit. The BET Cypher. Like the fact that he did that, which was a straight direct shot, it wasn't subliminal. I didn't like that. I like the fact that he did it at the BT Cypher. But when you do that, stand on it. Don't go into an interview 2 days later with Sway and they ask you, was that about Drake? Huh? What you mean? Huh? Nah. I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, stand on that. Like, I don't respect that type of move. Like, if you go say it, stand on it. And he's done a lot of that kind of, I'm going to throw a shot, but when I do an interview, I'm going to be like, nah, that ain't that. Y'all making this, it ain't. Like, don't do that. Like, nigga, we not stupid. We can read between the lines. And the lines ain't that blurred. So, like I don't like that aspect from the whole thing from Kendrick, because it kind of contradicts everything that he said in the actual songs, diss tracks. If he diss, he go take a direct flight. So are you direct, or do you send a shot and then say it wasn't me? I didn't do that. Nah, y'all making that out to be something else that I didn't say.
Yeah,
like stand on it, bro. Like, and I feel like he didn't do that until now, and even now he's not truly standing on it. Besides, I guess you could say the Super Bowl performance.
Right.
But we'll get into that a little more. Even though we've touched it in the past, but yeah.
Right. But I will say this, going back, I'm glad you brought that up with the cipher that took place in 2013, man. I mean, if you went back and really just kind of listened to that now, especially with everything that's unfolded since then, it's clear and obvious that that was a direct shot. I think specifically, you know, the whole ha, you know, jokes on you and all that, pin the tail on the donkey.
I'm bulletproof.
Yeah. And then pin the tail on the donkey, boy, you been a fake. Like, it's clear that his thing is he's not a real rapper, subjective, and that he's not really for the culture, which I think that's kind of like where, at least the narrative, at least if I'm picking up on Kendrick stuff through the years, that he's been trying to confirm. Like, how are y'all comparing me to this guy when he's not even like an actual like full-blooded rapper? Now, again, that's subjective because while I do credit Kendrick to being the better pen, the penman, you know, having the better pen between the two from the lyrical standpoint and from the actual rap skill standpoint, I'm not going to totally dismiss Drake either. I mean, the guy's got bars, you know, whether you want to label him as a pop artist, singer, you know, entertainer, whatever. That goes back to your point. They're just two different artists and two different lanes. So it's the fact that Drake is just that good with his pen is why we're considering throwing him into, like, you know, what Cole referenced as the big three between them, you know, when we go with the first person shooters. So it's clearly a situation where I know Kendrick is trying to stand on that mountain by himself as far as like being deemed as the best, which I think he's got the skill to make an argument for, but it's just, there's too many things to throw him for that not to be definitive. That can't be the law. That can't be the you know, I mean, that can't be what the tombstone is written, at least as of yet, in my opinion. Because me personally, if I'm looking at the quote unquote big three, I personally would probably prefer Cole over those three guys in particular. So again, with everything boiling up to, getting to the boiling point, essentially, which if I'm understanding it, again, as I'm researching and looking back through things, this really kind of started to catch fire with Drake's album, For All My Dogs, and then obviously the first person shooter track. Because according to folks that are on Kendrick's side of the equation and taking his side, they're feeling that that's truly a diss track. Before I give my take, I'm going to give you the floor and get your opinion on whether you felt truly that first person shooter was like a direct shot and an actual diss track, or was this more going back to, like, you know, the subliminal one back and forth between the two?
Nah, like, I don't even think the back and forth was between the two. And I don't think it was a diss track at all. Like in any form. Because even Cole's line, you know, them saying, like, you know, that they the big three, it feel like they started a league, and that, you know, he feel like he Muhammad Ali. Like, he's saying that clearly at the top of the game, it's him, Kendrick, and Drake, and that he feel like he the best. And, you know, Cole's the one that said it. Drake didn't even say it in the song.
Facts.
You know, and then people were like, oh, you know, like, he taking a diss because he had word that he was go get the Super Bowl. So that's why he said, you know, as big as the Super Bowl, and it was big as the what? Like, y'all reaching. Like, the Super Bowl pick ain't picked out that far in advance. It's
Can't
not.
Be. That was one hell of a reach.
It's not, y'all. So we can dead that narrative there on that. And Drake has already turned down Super Bowl like 3 times prior to that. So that wasn't the angle. So I don't feel like it was a diss track at all. I don't even think Cole's line was a diss. I actually think it was paying homage to him, like saying that they the big three. You know, it's just them three. If it's any type of competition, it's between those three, and that's it. So that's how I feel about it. And I'll let you pick it back up. But that's how I feel about that song. I don't think it was a diss track at all. I never assumed that was a diss track.
Yeah, I'm in firm agreement with you. I never ever once, even when the beef started, you know, once they started like throwing direct tracks at each other, I never really interpreted first person shooter to be a subliminal diss towards Kendrick. Even with what Cole said in that, and to highlight your point, Drake never really said anything that was a direct shot at Kendrick, or in my opinion, could even be interpreted as a direct shot at Kendrick, or a sneak diss, as some people are trying to say with this whole thing. So, and again, that was kind of initiated by Cole, so that may have led to what we heard on Like That when that came out shortly after. But I don't think this in any way, shape, or form with First Person Shooter was a diss. It just wasn't, man. Like, I think it was, again, kind of even going back to the control piece of it. I think this was just friendly penmanship, picking up on each other, and highlighting again the fact that they are three of the best, if not the three best in the industry right now, as far as like our traditional artists goes. Because I mean, you still got other people that will die on the hill for other artists that, you know, you can make the argument for, regardless of what their activity status has or hasn't been in the past like 5 years or so. But another subject for another day. And I think y'all might know who I'm hinting at. But yeah, I never took it as a direct diss track at all in any way, shape, or form. Like I didn't listen to that and come out of that like, oh man, they really got at Kendrick, or oh man, not Cole, man, he, you know what I'm saying, is Kendrick gonna respond? Kendrick got 24 hours to respond. I never had that kind of energy at all coming out of that particular track, man, when it was in heavy circulation at the end of 2023 and at the top of 2024. So, but obviously that whatever was interpreted or uninterpreted or miscued, processed, understood, does bring us to the first official shot in the beef that we know it with, Like That. Because that is really where this thing, like, it kind of hit that boiling point. Like, forget the nonsense. You know, obviously, you know, Kendrick in his fashion, when he's going to take a clear shot at somebody, up until at least these, you know, the tracks between the two, at that point in time, at the beginning of 2024, it was always on somebody else's, like, you know, hype track or whatnot, or showcase track. So, which I find it a little ironic, seeing that there was the beef going on between Future and Drake at that point in time. And then, you know, I still kind of hold, I don't think Future's totally absolved in this whole equation, for, you know, help pushing this along. I think it was just a perfect opportunity for that to happen as well too. But moving forward to the next piece of it, your thoughts on Like That and the shot taken back at the big three, or at least Kendrick identifying himself as what's good, y'all. So I hope y'all enjoyed this first round in the chapter talking about the Drake and Kendrick beef, man. But Zay, I want to, before we let these folks go here and start talking about the track battle on the next episode, man, what are your thoughts on, you know, how we did on this first part of the chapter here, man?
I think it was good, you know, gave a good backstory to how it originally started from both of them in reference to Drake and Kendrick. So, you know, leading up to, like I said, their origins and then their escalation to where we're at now. And again, getting into the actual beef tracks themselves. So can't wait for you guys to hear what we have to say on that. And we'll go from there.
No doubt about it, man. I think y'all gonna enjoy our we're on the same page with the track battle, but there's definitely going to be some a nice little sparring session, because we got some differences in opinions on some of these tracks. So I'm definitely excited for the next episode and for y'all to tune in and check us out.
For sure. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Can't wait.
No doubt, man. It's going to be fire, man. But again, we appreciate y'all showing the love and support and continuing to support the movement. It's been your boy Frost and Zay, and we are going to catch y'all on the next episode of the Crisp Logic Podcast.
Yes, sir. We out.
We out. Holla.